and buy one with. So I said, I need to figure something out, and the thing I need to figure out is how do I keep people from being impulsive when it comes to cars. Dell did it. He said, I'm going to target second-time computer buyers, and I'm only going to sell them a computer with the technology that they want. Threadless, some of you know out there, have done it by bringing in fashionistas to elevate the inconnu and then say, look, if you can build a t-shirt, everybody's going to queue up for the design of the month. So I knew you had to make people wait, and we feel in our company that if you want to bring people to a solution, you can't shove their head in a car and say, you love this effing car. It's not going to work. You need involvement, you need commitment, and you need tension on the string. If you don't have tension on the string, there's no way you're going to pull somebody across the line. There's no way you're going to push them across the line. So our challenge to our customers is make cool cars. Make cool cars. I am unapologetic for a man who's been through a war, and why should I be anything else? If we want to solve the problems in the world, one of the ways we can do it is fix cars. And if we want to fix cars, then we got to build solutions that people deeply desire and want. And we need to cut through the BS in order to be able to get there. We need to make cool cars. Local Motors started with a community. That's the first thing that we did. And today we have the largest online design and development community in the world. And if you think cool is corny, by the way, South Beach was corny in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and we think cool is kind of kitschy cool as a word. So our community starts out cool, if you will. And we now have hundreds of factory visits. We're right here in the south coast of Massachusetts. So tonight, if you want to come by Local Motors, you can do it. We're only an hour away. And we host design competitions that use prize-based innovation to come and bring people to our website. We have, in 1 year, 44,000 shared designs on our website of some of the coolest cars you've ever seen. And we have 3,600 innovators that come and talk about cars. If you want to talk about innovation, we like to talk about real products that get made and get delivered out. I have no problem with SaaS. I have no problem with software development in general. But I wanted to see if the Creative Commons license could be applied to things that had real marginal cost. And so we did it. And people say to me all the time, they say, look, you've been developing that car for 1.5 years with your community. When are you going to start marketing it? And I say, exactly. In our house, we have open source design and development, which in this audience, again, would not be something that would be a new thing to talk about. But just for a second, the so what here is as we run competitions, we get more meaningful gas pedals, we get more meaningful pocketbook holders, and we get more meaningful lights to stick on the roof. We get more meaningful cars. The bottom line is that we have proven that Creative Commons can work in a manufacturing concept, and we're just at the beginning of it. But don't get in our way, because we're going to steamroll you if you think it doesn't work. It's unsurprising to get the punchline that we believe we can, over time, deliver safer, more meaningful cars. That would be the advent of what's happened in software development that's been open source and other types of innovations like that. But the economic benefit, which is to me more interesting, is that we've liberated cars in many senses to be a platform for the specialty automotive equipment market, which is already a $38 billion a year annual market in this country alone. And that's based off of the most Byzantine cloistered network of data that is totally closed. If you opened it up, it could be $100 billion in 5 years in this market. So let's release the hounds, is what we say. All car companies talk about ownership. They talk about having an experience, but few can stop you in your tracks. And that's what we've set out to do. The bottom line is if you want to connect with somebody in a pry it out of my hands over my cold, dead body kind of way, you need to have experience. You need to have an experience with a product across almost anything, whether it's art or technology or whether it's something that's in the built environment. And so the bottom line is we said, look, what's the reason why Harley paper, loan paper on a Harley bike performs better than a GM car? And the reason is because brands are about a promise. And when you make a promise to yourself and you have the experiences that are associated with that, it's our feeling that you tend to pay it off more quickly than one that you didn't care as much about. So our version of ownership is a first-of-a-kind interactive automotive retail environment. We build local microfactories, our first one here in Massachusetts, where you can come to our burgers, cars, and welding event, and you can learn, you can connect a little bit more with your car. So if you have any yen to want to find a love for something like that, we are your place to come. We don't mean something for everybody, but that is what we mean to our core audience. We allow people the opportunity to co-sell their approved products, to be able to bring and engage with designers ideas that would never before make it to market, and simply to get together and make friends you never knew you never had. So we begin that in the process of the birth of your car, and you build your car with us, much like Lancair. We promise to give meaning to your weekend again. We promise to provide or retain the bond in your family of doing something special. And we want to keep you engaged with something that's very grounded in your home life. That's the ownership experience that we have. And finally, there's local. When was the last time that you, being born in New York, Bruce, rooted for the Red Sox? Never, never. Yes, or if somebody said ever, they're really quiet out here. So the bottom line is the flash of the obvious from that pretty much shows to me that what's cool in Boston is not cool in New York. And that's the point. The point is that if you want to be fast, if you want to be right on point, you need to be from the street. You need to be local. And we're trying to solve a huge, slow problem of disconnectedness in the auto industry. And we need to jerk it out of its malaise, and we need to turn it into something which actually is made to listen. So our microfactories are designed that way. They are up in your face, they're in your community, and they have a feedback loop that can't be paralleled by something otherwise known today as a dealership. When was the last time you went into a dealership and said, my seatbelt kind of cuts me over the clavicle? Could you change that in the next car that I buy? That suggestion kind of goes in the waste bin of history, and it's nobody's individual fault. It's the fault of the process. So Local Motors challenges the culture of centralized manufacturing, and I know I'm going to have a lot of conversations before these 2 days are over about what do you do about mass economies of scale. So I'm going to leave that for those conversations, but share a little bit more with you. We challenge the culture of embattled dealerships that are so disconnected from manufacturing, and we challenge the culture of dispersed service locations. We do it all in the same place. We manufacture, sell, and service out of a microfactory. So we introduce our cars by building these units, and our microfactories are designed to provide a lot of things. They provide local jobs, they provide a tight customer feedback loop, and they provide credible end-of-life recycling and reuse of components and materials that we've seen in the likes of HP today, but why haven't we seen it in cars? Well, that's something we think is possible. But you gotta have a local presence in order to be able to do that. HP doesn't sell cartridges back to China or India or California even to refill them and put them in a Staples in downtown Brockton. They simply send it back to a distribution warehouse that's here, refill it with ink, and then turn it back in. And there are other businesses that do this same sort of thing. So the outcome of Local Motors is we make cool cars. We make them 5 times faster than the average car business. We make them 100 times less capital intensive. And that basically puts us in a cash conversion cycle that is the envy of a business like Dell or Build-A-Bear. Maxine Clark, by the way, is one of my idols. So the proof is in the doing. This is what our community delivers every day at Local Motors. Great design, meant to be had for people to enjoy. 18 months ago, our community told us that the region was the desert Southwest, and that together with them, we could design a car and bring it. 16 months later, and $2 million of capital development cost less later, we are going to bring the Rally Fighter to the market in Las Vegas in 3 weeks. Come and see it. We've already taken 22 orders for this car. It's American-born, it's process-savvy, and it's the Rally Fighter. This multiplied across 35 markets in this country alone, and we believe there's great international ability to put microfactories in other places, may only bring 70,000 advanced cars to the market at a time. But I hope you'll agree with me that that's a tipping point that is the fulfillment of a promise to get us out of our comfort zone. So my challenge is, let's get connected. Let's make a product that we personally can invest in. Let's show the world that innovation can happen in things that are outside of the world of software and can now be in manufacturing also, and that Silicon Valley is not the only address where disruptive innovators live. Let's make cool cars. Thank you.